After seeing over 1,000 adults with ADHD being burnt out mentally and physically, this is what I discovered of why they were tired to begin with. Now, there's several reasons of why this is, and I'm going to go over all those reasons. But the very first reason is that after running so many different labs with patients with ADHD, 95% of people with ADHD run low on this very particular thing. And it's because of what people with ADHD tend to do. They gravitate towards a lot of stimulants, whether that's caffeine, coffee, energy drinks, stimulant medications, anything they can get their hands on to improve their mental energy and even their physical energy. But what I'll tell you is this is causing more damage than good. And it's one of the main reasons of why you're feeling tired with your ADHD. And this very thing that you're low in is cortisol. So what happens when someone overstimulates the body, you're asking your body more and more from it. And you're asking the adrenals specifically to producing more cortisol. It's like squeezing a sponge. The problem with that is you'll run in a state where you cannot produce enough cortisol. It's what we call adrenal insufficiency syndrome, where you're not producing enough cortisol. So how to fix this is first you got to cut back on all the caffeine and the overstimulation that you are doing. In some cases, I'll have my patient stop caffeine altogether, because then this starts to allow the body to start healing itself. And so another thing that I'll implement is something known as adrenal desiccated or adrenal bovine or some kind of adrenal support to start supporting the adrenals again to increase those cortisol levels. And so what I'll recommend is about doing 2 to 3 of these capsules first thing in the morning and then 1 to 2 midday, depending how severe it is. If there's no issues in the morning, then I'll just do it in the afternoon. If there's no issues in the afternoon, then we'll just do it in the morning. Now, you don't want to do this at night, and you only want to do this about 3 months. And this gives enough time for allow the body to heal and have the adrenals to work properly again to improve the mental and physical energy. Now, this next reason is a hidden deficiency with sleep that people with ADHD suffer with, because people with ADHD need sleep. If you don't get good sleep, then you're not going to have good mental and physical energy. And so this hidden deficiency has to do with the serotonin pathway. Serotonin, when it's broken down enough, ends up making melatonin, and melatonin is what helps us fall asleep. But before even serotonin, there's something known as tryptophan. Tryptophan makes 5-HTP, which then 5-HTP makes serotonin. So when I run all these different lab tests, I will see that tryptophan can be deficient and contributing to the sleep situation. So what I'll recommend is taking L-tryptophan 500 to 1500 milligrams a day before going to bed. And this should help start improving sleep, which in return should help with the mental and physical energy. Now, this third reason is the most vital nutrient that your brain chemistry needs and that you are probably low in. And what I'm referring to when we're talking about brain chemistry, I'm talking about neurotransmitters. We're talking about things like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. All 3 of those neurotransmitter pathways require this vital nutrient. And the nutrient I'm talking about is a cofactor that helps build and modulate every single one of these different neurotransmitters. It's known as P5P, also known as the activated form of vitamin B6. So if you're low in this, good luck in producing and modulating enough dopamine and serotonin to keep your mind clear and focused and having that mental energy that you're seeking for. And so what I'll recommend as far as dosages is taking P5P, the activated form of vitamin B6, and taking about 10 to 50 milligrams a day, depending on the severity. Now, I give this a lot of information, so you should download my all-day focus and energy guide in the description below that goes over a lot of this stuff and more to help you improve your energy and focus. And again, that's in the description below. Now, the fourth reason is that there is other micronutrient deficiencies that are holding you back having that mental clarity and energy that you're wanting. These first 3 are also important cofactors, just like vitamin B6, to helping build and modulate these different neurotransmitters. However, if they're deficient, it also can be a culprit to why you're feeling even just tired. And the obvious one is vitamin D. When you're low in vitamin D, is a common symptom to feel very drained and fatigued, but also mentally drained. And so if I see this deficient, I'll recommend my patient to take anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 IUs a day combined with vitamin K2. Another really big one is iron. So if you're deficient in like ferritin, iron, total iron binding capacity, also known as TIBC, this can be a main culprit to your fatigue and mental fatigue. In fact, one of my very first patients with ADHD had this very particular issue and solved all his issues to his mental and physical burnt out state. So in this case, I'll recommend anywhere from 10 to 50 milligrams a day of iron again, depending on the severity. Now, another one that's also common is zinc. And zinc is an important cofactor for building and modulating these different neurotransmitters as well. So in this case, I'll recommend about 15 to 30 milligrams a day. And these other two ones help in a different capacity with these different neurotransmitters, but still can be the culprit to your mental and physical energy burnouts. And that is magnesium and methylcobalamin, also known as the activated form of vitamin B12. And so for magnesium, I'll recommend anywhere from 200 to 500 milligrams a day. And then for methylcobalamin, vitamin B12, the activating form of vitamin B12, I'll recommend anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 micrograms a day. Now, this fifth reason is probably something you would not expect, because having too much of this can contribute to why you're feeling tired. And what I'm referring to is your actual stimulant ADHD medication that you are taking. Now, this happens, and I've had lots of patients where this happens when they feel agitated, irritated because they're on their medication, and then they reach this complete burnout state being on it for too long. Now, why this happens is because when I run lots of different tests, I'll look at dopamine, serotonin, GABA levels, and if I see these levels elevated too much, what happens is not only do you feel agitated, but over time, you're also going to feel very burnt out, drained, because you can't be overstimulated for too long. And so in this case, this is where you definitely want to ask your prescribing doctor to change things, either lower the dosage or ask for a different kind of medication if you're feeling agitated and irritated, because this can lead to serotonin syndrome, which is something that you don't want to deal with. But other things that you can do, there's two different things that I like using to help with this situation. And that is L-theanine and rhodiola rosea. Both of these are great at lowering those levels to a healthy balance to help with more of that clarity and reducing the stress and reducing the burnout. And so for L-theanine, I'll recommend anywhere from 200 to 500 milligrams twice a day. And then with rhodiola rosea, I'll recommend anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams once a day. Now, you truly can't know what you need to do to not only help with your mental and physical burnout, but also to improving with your ADHD. So you should watch this video next, where I go over the critical labs that every ADHD person should get. So watch this video next.